I am sat in the live room of Assault and Battery Studios in northwest London, and I'm sat across from the wonderful Catherine Marks.
Hello.
And Catherine was the producer for the album No Man's Land. So today we're going to talk about the song Silent Key, but we're also going to talk more broadly about the album as a whole and about the process of making it and the personnel and the philosophy and all that kind of business. Mm-hmm. The optic of two men sitting in a sunless room recording songs about women seemed a bit fucked to me, and I thought that it would be cool to work with a woman.
I didn't know, I had sort of no background on what the record was. All I understood was there was a podcast involved with it.
Right.
I hadn't been sent the demos.
Right.
So I hadn't heard anything. I just heard of you and heard that you were an amazing artist and an amazing person to
Who
work.
told you that?
I don't know. I asked around.
I think what's important about me working with you, and indeed with all the musicians who came into this room, is it's the most important thing isn't the gender issue, it's the skill. Do you know what I mean? And I think that you're an amazing producer.
Thank you.
And I think that you really took a lot of these songs in ways that I wasn't expecting. And
really?
Yeah.
I think you helped push them.
Okay, but there's definite examples of songs that have ended up in different places from where I thought they were going to be.
A Silent Key.
Silent Key being quite a good example,
yeah.
Which is why we're here.
So what made you pick Krista out
Because she was a layperson, because
right.
she wasn't trained out. I mean, you know,
she would have been the first teacher in space.
Yeah, and the first kind of, I mean, I guess non-astronaut, I suppose. Yeah. And you know, we have to. These are all real people who died in a tragic way, in a very public way, and we need to pay them their due respect. And the other people who are on the spacecraft are equally as deserving of commemoration. But there is a certain kind of poignancy to her passing specifically. If you have kind of a series of nodes in your network of people around the USA or the world who are communicating with each other, and then one of them just stops responding and goes dead, and you don't know why, they're known as the Silent Key. Okay. So that was the other sparking off point for writing the song, as I read that somewhere and went, holy crap.
So Krista was the Silent Key?
Well, in the fictional story that I'm telling. Essentially, I would say the producer's role is to get the best out of the musician in front of them.
Absolutely. I would say that as well. And through whatever means.
Yeah, completely. So it's not like, you know, you're not writing the songs, you're not playing on the songs, but this album would not sound how it does if you hadn't been sitting in the chair in there.
Yeah, I think it's you adapt your role depending on the artist that you're working with and what they need.
Yeah. And
you were less about sort of emotional hand-holding and more about getting you to not be so bloody perfect.
Assault and Battery Studios, where we're sitting, is, so as you were saying, it's a place where you've worked on and off for 14 years. Yeah. Which is funny because I think we must have just missed each other, because in 2004, Million Dead cut a record here. We were here for about 2 months, and I was kind of, homeless in a very sort of middle class kind of way. I was sofa surfing, and there's these two massive glass doors behind us that are for sound reasons, and they have a little strip of carpet about a foot wide in between them, and they let me sleep in there quite a lot because I didn't really have anywhere else to go at the time. It smelled awful.
I think that would have been just before my time,
right.
Just like maybe 6 months before.
You were coming in and being like, man, this gap between these two bits of glass smells awful.
Well, no. But do you know what the thing that I'm going to miss the most? Your spreadsheets.
My spreadsheets.
I loved how organised, because that is how my brain works.
Yeah.
As well.
Gotta have a spreadsheet.
Yeah, and just the with such limited time, you have to really plan. What your days.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, I have my sort of internal spreadsheet, but you actually had
spreadsheets,
hard copy
printed spreadsheets. And the best part of any day was the bit where I got to cross off a box.
Yes, the saddest in me, just things that I knew that irritated you immensely. I had really hard in the mix, but so that because I really loved them, so when you were like, nah, mute that, you'd miss it. Yeah,
and it works. But then, so that's a part of the role of the producer there. There's quite a lot of mind games going on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But then you do the same, although you sort of tell me how your mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're the one in control of the mixing board, so.
Yeah, but it's your project.
Yeah.
You were in charge. I was just helping you.
Yeah, I think it was a meeting of minds.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved not just this track, but the whole record. I loved working with you on this, and we should do it again sometime.
I loved working with you too. I had so much fun. It was the easiest project I've ever done. most enjoyable.
Well, and on that note, I think that we should wrap up this podcast because we're not going to top that. Thank you, Catherine, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I say coming in, I've come into your place of work. Thanks for having me. And onwards and upwards. Let's make another record down the line.
Love to.